Welcome, dear friend, to the quiet sanctuary of dreamy detections. It is a genuine pleasure to have you here, choosing this gentle story to help your mind find ease and your body prepare for deep, restorative sleep. If this tranquil tale brings you comfort, a soft like is always appreciated. A subscription invites you to future calm, and a gentle comment shares your peaceful thoughts. Step into the world of Everglen tonight, a cozy valley village nestled where the air is heavy with peace and the scent of damp moss. Prepare to be enchanted by the ancient Bell Tower, whose copper finial gathers the quiet light and translates the town's contentment into soothing, unheard melodies. This gentle journey offers you a profound respite, inviting your own heart to settle into stillness and profound calm. Chapter 1. The Quiet Hum of Everglen. Mila's gentle journey ended with the sight of her borrowed cottage, a peaceful haven where the air felt immediately heavy with peace, a warm and welcome weight that settled upon her shoulders. The small structure was built of pale, smooth stone and dark timber, perfectly nestled against a hill covered in ancient, velvety moss that seemed to absorb all sounds. A subtle, comforting scent of damp earth and old, seasoned wood enveloped the porch, offering Mila a profound, immediate sense of safe belonging and quiet solitude. She unlocked the heavy wooden door with a soft, turning click, finding the interior already glowing with the soft, inviting amber light of late afternoon sun filtering through linen curtains. The process of settling in became a quiet ritual of mindful movement and sensory appreciation, affirming the slow, deliberate pace of Everglen. Mila slowly unpacked her few delicate items, each placement a thoughtful choice that deepened the room's tranquility and order. She smoothed the soft wool blanket across the bed, running her fingers over the comforting texture and feeling a deep release of unnoticed tension from her neck and brow. The room offered simple comforts, a sturdy wooden table by the window, a small bookshelf filled with familiar, well-loved pages, and a single deep armchair upholstered in comforting cream linen. She prepared a cup of freshly brewed herb tea, savoring the gentle heat radiating from the porcelain mug and the delicate steam that curled lazily upward in the still air. Sitting in the armchair, Mila watched the languid zephyr outside gently caress the leaves of a tall, quiet willow tree in the garden, its motion a soothing, repetitive rhythm. The silence of the village was absolute, a profound quietude broken only by the quiet scrape of her wooden chair on the clean floor, and the very distant, rhythmic tick-tick of old clockwork that served as a gentle, constant anchor in the stillness. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting elongated warm shadows across the room, Mila felt the familiar, gentle heaviness of true relaxation begin to press softly upon her eyelids. It was in this moment of deep, restful inertia that the sound began, a melody so faint it felt more like a memory of sound than an actual noise. It drifted from the direction of the village center, a sound like the softest silk brushing against the air, entirely unlike the usual jarring tone of a traditional bell. This unique sound was a gentle lullaby, an unheard melody that seemed to resonate directly within the quiet center of Mila's chest, immediately settling her breath into an effortless, deep rhythm. The sound was not loud or demanding of attention. It was simply present, a pervasive, tranquil current that flowed through the quiet air. Mila felt a profound, gentle warmth spread across her shoulders, easing any lingering stiffness and inviting her limbs to feel delightfully heavy and grounded. She closed her eyes, allowing the soft, unheard chimes to wash over her, recognizing this sound as a unique, charming property of this secluded valley. The lullaby seemed to confirm the village's promise of serenity, acting as a profound, gentle welcome to the spirit that sought peaceful rest. Mila understood immediately that this was not a sound that needed solving or investigating. It was a pure gift of peace, a delightful oddity to be accepted with quiet gratitude. She finished her tea, the warmth of the mug a comforting weight in her hands, and carried the feeling of the soft ethereal melody into the deep quiet of her cottage. The evening light grew dimmer, and the rhythmic tick-tick of the distant clockwork continued its steady promise of predictable time and peaceful security, ensuring Mila felt profoundly safe and settled in her new, tranquil home. The air felt heavy with peace, a warm and welcome weight that promised restorative slumber. Chapter 2. A Cup of Tea and the Afternoon Drift. The following afternoon, Mila ventured into the village, stepping out into the gentle sunlight that filtered softly through the valley air. She noticed the soft, worn cobblestones of the paths, their smooth surfaces telling quiet stories of countless tranquil footsteps taken over long, peaceful years. The air carried a distinct, lovely scent of freshly turned earth and damp moss, a grounding aroma that deepened Mila's appreciation for the natural serenity of the location. Her pace was unhurried and deliberate, matching the slow, contented rhythm of the quiet village. She approached the village square, where the ancient bell tower stood, its copper roof glowing softly under the afternoon sun. The copper finial atop the tower caught the light in a peculiar, subtle shimmer, a gentle visual effect that seemed to gather the quiet light into itself. Mila paused, watching the light play across the aged metal, feeling a soft humming anticipation of the coming peace that the tower's melody would bring. She noticed a kindly figure tending to the gentle, low-growing gardens surrounding the tower's base, meticulously brushing stray leaves from the soil. This was Alistair, the village's amicable clock-keeper, whose hands moved with a quiet precision that spoke of deep contentment in his gentle routines. He paused his work, offering Mila a soft, warm smile that immediately conveyed a sense of shared peace and community warmth. He invited her to join him on a nearby stone bench, already anticipating the shared pleasure of the coming stillness. Alistair produced a small thermos and 2 simple ceramic cups, pouring out freshly brewed herb tea that carried the pleasant scent of chamomile and a hint of warm honey. The warmth of the cup in Mila's hands was immediately soothing, a gentle comfort that complemented the quiet atmosphere. Alistair spoke in a soft, low voice, his words flowing like the gentle murmur of a hidden stream. He shared the community's quiet, loving acceptance of the lullabies, explaining that the sound was simply a part of Everglen's natural rhythm. like the predictable return of a favorite bird. He emphasized that the chimes never kept anyone awake. Quite the opposite, they always invited a restorative pause and a deep, restful calm. Mila felt a profound sense of trust in his words and in the peaceful, grounded quality of his presence. She observed how Alistair's own breath deepened effortlessly as he spoke of the afternoon chimes, demonstrating the sound's tranquil effect. The rhythmic tick-tick of the old clockwork, closer now, provided a comforting low-level backdrop to their quiet conversation. As they sat in companionable silence, the copper finial began its subtle, shimmering glow, a gentle visual cue preceding the sound. Then the softest sound began its drift, the ethereal lullaby wrapping the square in its silken, soothing current. Mila felt her shoulders soften completely, releasing any remaining tension and settling her into the bench with a welcome weight. The gentle tea warmed her chest, a pleasant and grounding sensation. She realized the puzzle was not about a secret mechanism, but about the beautiful, open acceptance of simple, wondrous tranquility. This moment confirmed the deep shared peace between the townspeople and their quiet, melodic tower, deepening Mila's sense of belonging and inner calm. The air felt heavy with peace, a warm and welcome weight, and Mila allowed herself to drift into the profound stillness of the afternoon. Chapter 3. The gentle rhythm of the common room. As dusk settled over Everglen, Mila accepted Alistair's gentle invitation to spend the evening in the village's common room, a place promised to be rich with community comforts and quietude. The room was immediately inviting, its interior filled with the warm, subtle glow of several low-burning oil lamps and the constant, pleasant scent of warm beeswax and faint lavender. The walls were lined with familiar, well-loved books and simple wooden shelves, displaying small, charming artifacts of local life, all arranged with gentle care. The community gathered slowly, each person moving with a slow, deliberate, contented rhythm that mirrored the village's overarching tranquility. There was no rush, no urgency, only the quiet appreciation of shared presence. People engaged in simple, mindful activities. One woman was knitting with soft, muted wool, her needles clicking with a gentle, rhythmic precision. A man was gently sketching familiar scenes in a thick notebook. Others sat quietly reading well-worn pages. The low hum of contentment that filled the room was a soothing, constant sound, richer and more enveloping than any music. Mila settled into a large, comfortable armchair near a small, glowing hearth, accepting a piece of freshly baked bread that was still warm and wonderfully soft. The gentle warmth of the bread in her hands and the slow, satisfying chew offered a profound, simple comfort. As the evening progressed and the quiet contentment deepened, Mila noticed a charming anomaly. The comforting scent of warm beeswax and lavender gently intensified, wrapping the entire room in an even thicker, more secure layer of warmth and peace, seemingly responding to the collective stillness of the inhabitants. The subject of the bell tower's unique sound arose in soft murmurs, never as a point of investigation, but as a shared wonder. An older woman, knitting a pale blue shawl, commented softly that the lullabies always seemed strongest after the quietest, most contented moments in the village. Another shared a gentle, simple tale of how the sound once seemed to perfectly harmonize with the soft purr of her sleeping cat. Everyone agreed the sound brought only good dreams and profound stillness to their lives, emphasizing its role as a gentle guardian of their peace. Mila listened, feeling a deep, comforting connection to this peaceful place and its amiable inhabitants. She understood that the bell tower was not just a structure, it was a reflection of the town's own inner quietude and acceptance of gentle wonder. The rhythmic tick-tick of the distant clockwork continued its reassuring pattern, weaving stability through the conversation and activities. She felt her muscles relax completely, absorbing the room's warmth and the gentle, supportive energy of the community. The shared appreciation of the bell tower's charm was a gentle form of bonding, confirming Mila's sense that the puzzle was not meant to be solved with logic, but accepted with the heart. The deep, rich tranquility of the common room offered a refuge from all complexity, allowing Mila's mind to simply rest in the beauty of the present moment. The air felt heavy with peace, a warm and welcome weight that promised a night of deep, undisturbed rest, enveloped by the soft sense of home and the low hum of contentment. Chapter 4. Serene Resolution and Lasting Peace. The final morning in Everglen offered a gentle, misty light that softened the edges of the valley, filling the air with a fresh, clean scent. Mila joined Alistair for a quiet inspection of the tower's lower chamber, a tranquil space that felt removed from the world's worries. The chamber was filled with the scent of old, polished brass and clean, circulating air, a space dedicated to the slow, precise movement of time. Sunlight filtered through a high, narrow window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the stillness with a gentle, ethereal glow. The mystery of the lullabies was resolved not through the discovery of cogs and springs, but through a quiet observation of the tower's aged copper finial, which extended down into the chamber via a slender, polished rod. Alistair, moving with his characteristic unhurried grace, pointed to the base of the rod, which rested near a beautifully smooth circular piece of wood that seemed to hum faintly when touched. This space was entirely free of complex mechanics, dedicated instead to purity of material and sound. Alistair explained, in his soft, low voice, that the finial was gently placed long ago, not as a lightning rod, but to catch the softest currents of air and to gather the town's collective, peaceful vibrations. He suggested the sound was simply the valley's inherent tranquility made audible, translated through the ancient, resonant copper. The lullabies were not a product of mechanism, but a pure, gentle song of profound stillness, a reflection of the contentment held by the people of Everglen. This realization confirmed the setting's tranquil nature, satisfying Mila's gentle curiosity in the most serene way possible. She felt a profound sense of understanding and acceptance, recognizing that the greatest wonders are often the simplest reflections of peace. Mila placed her hand near the polished brass of the tower's workings, feeling the slow, rhythmic tick-tick of the old clockwork, a sound that now felt entirely integrated with her own heartbeat. Mila left the tower and Everglen feeling profoundly restored and deeply grounded, carrying the soft rhythm of the village's peaceful chimes within her heart. The gentle journey had accomplished its purpose, dissolving any lingering traces of previous tension and replacing them with the warm weight of peaceful inertia. She understood that the sanctuary she sought was not just the village itself, but the capacity for stillness she had rediscovered within her own quiet mind. The final moments of her departure were slow and mindful, marked by a soft exhalation of contentment. The air felt heavy with peace, a warm and welcome weight that would travel with her. Mila knew she had found a true sanctuary, a place where gentle wonder and deep rest were one and the same, and the peaceful lullaby of the bell tower would forever guide her toward restful dreams.